What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, Sasha Calle. If I'm saying your name wrong, leave a comment in the comment section. I'm serious. The actual actress, because I feel like I'm murdering your name right now. And Michael Keaton, legend. First of all, since I did the Spider-Man Villain Unexplored last time, I feel it's only right that I do the DC Villains Unexplored this time. And the reason I'm doing DC is because I'm really not that familiar with a lot of Flash villains. Okay, I read a lot of Marvel comics growing up, not a lot of DC. I only started reading DC when I got older, and that was Batman. So, you know. Villain number 1, Clayface. I was introduced to Clayface through Batman animated series. You're going to hear that brought up a lot through this list. Just get ready for that. But yes, the first time I saw him was on that show, and he's an actor who fell into some vault of chemical or whatever. It was the same plot with almost every villain. And now he can shapeshift into anything he wants to shapeshift into. And he has this huge identity crisis going on. Of course, he doesn't know who the hell he is. And Batman had to sit there and deal with that craziness, okay, throughout the episode, and be his psychiatrist and the same guy who kicks his ass. And so that was a very interesting episode for me. And I've seen him on, of course, Harley Quinn and maybe other, cartoon or animated situations, but not on the big screen and live action. I don't know why they won't do it. They have the technology. They can do this. They can make this happen. All right. They just choose not to. Villain number 2, Mad Hatter. Now this guy is up there. He's up there, man, because this guy really thinks he's Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. And so he's giving that whole Alice in Wonderland vibe every time he's on the screen, if he was ever on the screen. I've seen him on, of course, Batman animated series. That's why I was introduced to him too. But I need to see this craziness on film. All right? Just imagine going to see a Batman movie and you think for a second you're watching the Alice in Wonderland movie. But you see Batman walk through all of a sudden. You're going to be thinking the same thing Batman's thinking. What the hell is going on? All right? What am I doing? What's going on right now? I need that vibe when watching a Batman movie. I need those mind games. Okay? And this will definitely do it. Villain number 3, Man-Bat. I love this because it's just the reverse of Batman. It's like if Batman got bit by a feral bat and became a werebat, but it's not Batman, okay? And this villain was such a animalistic character. It could only think about kill, kill, kill. It didn't have a plot or a plan. It just wanted to hurt people because it's an animal. And Batman had to think of something quick. This would bring that whole horror and Halloween vibe to the film if it was ever to come out. All right. So to do this villain would be such a justifiable thing for Batman. Okay. I can see it. I can see this character already on the big screen. All right. It's too easy. So for you to not do it doesn't make any sense. Villain number 4, Gorilla Grodd. Now we're out of the Batman territory and we're actually talking about a Flash villain now. Well, at least the one that I'm most familiar with, besides Reverse Flash. But for reasons, I'm not going to do him with the list, okay? I'm not putting him on this list. There's a reason for it. Not going to explain that right now. We're talking about Gorilla Grodd, who gives off the whole Planet of the Apes vibe. All right. And on top of that, he can talk. Like, he can talk immediately. All right. It didn't take him almost a whole movie to talk. Okay. And he's highly intelligent, one of the smartest DC villains around. All right. There are smarter. We'll get into that later on. But I just want to see this brought to life. Okay. I just want to see this play out. I want to see how this is going to be handled. And you don't have to have him fight Flash. You can have him fight Batman. All right. And then Flash can come in later on. Something like that. Work something out. Work something out with this. I can see this happening. All right. Villain number 4 or 5. Brainiac. All right. Brainiac is the one I was talking about. The one that's smarter than Gorilla Grodd. And Brainiac's a Superman villain. Believe it or not. Yes, there's more than just Lex Luthor and Doomsday and Zod. Okay. Stop giving us the same people to fight Superman over and over again when it comes to live action films. Stop. We've seen these people before. We don't want to see these people no more. All right. Give us Brainiac. He's a highly intelligent villain who could just wreak havoc. He's super smart. All right. So he can do some things. We know Superman's not that smart. All right. I'm sorry. He's not. He's mostly wrong. I don't know why they keep calling Superman such a smart guy. He's a good leader. He's a good leader. Other than that, nah. So Brainiac would work wonders as a villain, man. Just get into that. Please get into that. Villain number 6, Bizarro Superman. If you're old like me, you remember when Lois and Clark first came out in the 90s. And Dean Cain was playing Superman and blah, 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 blah. Terry Hatcher, blah, blah, blah. And Bizarro was a very memorable character that just kept reoccurring and reappearing on a couple of episodes. And every time he would come on, it was funny time for me. I couldn't help but laugh at this character. It was too hilarious. He had a chalk skin. He was stupid. And he just was the opposite of Superman in every freaking way. All right. And it just didn't make sense to me why they made this character. But if you can make him a little more serious and then put him on a big screen, it would work out perfectly. Trust me. Villain number 7, Lobo. And Lobo's really like a anti-hero. He can go both ways. He can go either way. Anti-hero, anti-villain, whatever you want. Whatever side is plays for him, he's going with it. He's the scourge of the cosmos. That's what they call him, all right? And I always remember Lobo's being played voice-wise by the guy who was, Robert on Everybody Loves Raymond. And so that's what I can remember. I know they're not going to have him physically play this in a movie, but they are talking about Jason Momoa playing him. Well, bring it on. Please make that happen. Of course, it can't be in the same world that he is Aquaman in. So it's got to be another universe, but still, please make that happen. He's one of the coolest characters on DC. I've been knowing this character since I was young. You got to make this a real thing. And now we have the Flash. And we already know that Zod's in there. So I'm not going to even, But my question is, besides Zod, will there be another villain in there that we haven't seen before on the screen? But to find out, let's go. Flash. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, I don't know what to say at this point. It's sad. It's very sad if you don't know about this movie. I think what's going on with you is you're still running in circles, so fast, trying to rearrange your past or something. You're trying to figure out your past by your superpowers of running fast and stuff like that, and do all of that. That's why you haven't seen the trailer for this, because you're busy right now. All right, don't play me. Don't play around with me, please. You don't do it. Penalized. Flash. It's pretty much coming off from the events of, the that other movie. You know what I'm talking about, okay? God dang it. God dang, you know what I'm talking about. And now we're getting to what's going on with Flash. All right, he's back to his job as a forensics guy at the police department. People are still picking on him, even though he's not in high school anymore. I don't understand how that's going on, but yeah, he's having a very hard time. Besides just being a superhero that nobody knows it's him, and he's still trying to figure out how he can help his dad clear his name because he was framed of killing his mom a long time ago. And so that trial's still going on. And while figuring and talking this out with his dad over the phone, he gets so worked up and emotional that he just starts running and running. And he runs so fast that he goes back in time. And now he's figured out that he can do this. And so now he wants to find out if he can stop his mother from being murdered on that very day. All right. And so when he goes back to find this out, he bumps into his younger self, and then he slowly figures that now he's in a whole nother world. Well, it ain't the same from what he knew. And that's the premise of The Flash. Positives. The humor actually complemented the serious tone in this movie. Unlike what Marvel's been doing lately, where they're just fumbling with those jokes. Horrible. They don't know how to balance their humor and their serious tone. DC has actually made it work with this movie. I'm sorry, Marvel. It just you're getting the humor. Even though I know Barry is annoying. The guy that's playing him is making Barry very annoying. But when you get the second Barry in there, the younger Barry, and they start to intermingle and interact with each other, and it's hilarious because the second Barry is kind of like this. I can't say it on YouTube, but he's a feel good guy. We'll say he's a hippie. All right, he's hippie-ish. So it's just hilarious to see him talk, just even talk, let alone just try to think or make a thought come out of his head because he's so dumb. All right, and we'll get into that later on because that's an up and a down, but we'll get into that later on. Okay. But it's just, their interaction was funny, and him finding his powers out for the first time as the young Barry in that universe was just hilarious. The things he did, he just lost his mind finding out that he could run that fast. He lost his mind. The other Barry told him, "Please don't do this. Please don't," and he was already off to the races. All right. So I love that part right there. And then there were other jokes in here that actually worked. All right, and it's not like how Marvel's been doing. I'm sorry, Marvel. Just Positive number 2. The special effects served his powers justice. Okay, it's like when you see Quicksilver do his thing in all the X-Men movies. Once you see Quicksilver, you know it's going down because he's going to start running so fast. Everything else is in slow motion. And while he's running and fighting the villains, he's reading a book or he's doing his taxes at the same time because he's going so fast. All right. That's kind of the same thing with this, but in a different aspect. Let's put it like that. Like Flash is over here saving babies out of a building. Falling out of a building. Like you're sitting the whole time like, how is he going to save all these babies? There's a whole lot of babies falling, and the way that they're doing this is just, there's things they're doing with those babies that it's very iffy. Like, should you be putting a baby in that circumstance? But because he's Flash, you it's kind of like you already know. Oh, he's got this. He's Flash. He's super fast, man. But just the thrill of it. Okay, just seeing that, and then seeing him work together with his other self, and they combine their powers, and that was interesting because he's doing things I didn't know the Flash could do. Watch the movie for that. So to see that displayed on the big screen, and in the era that we're in now, was very well needed. Thank you. Positive number 3. Supergirl's fight scene was epic. And not just the one fight scene. Every time she showed up, her presence was just epic. She just had this aura to her that, like, it wasn't like the other heroes in the movie. I'm gonna put it like right now. Like, when she showed up, you know she meant business. Everybody else is kind of like, and it was. I'm not trying to make fun of them. Like, it was just like, I'm not saying they were like goofy or anything, but like, it just, I felt it was more intimidating when she popped in. Like, oh, okay, now we can get some stuff done. And I'm sorry, that's how I kind of feel with a lot of Kryptonians, Superman, and they mean business. And so I always enjoy when Kryptonians fight against each other, because there's definitely going to be some furniture moving and some things getting destroyed. And so her fights just did everything with that. All right. Last positive. His relationship with his mother became a strong emotional point in the movie. All right. They went back in time. They explained their relationship from their past, when he was a little kid. And she was like probably one of the best movie mothers that you'll see. Okay. She did everything a mother's supposed to do. And I'm not saying that the father didn't do what the father was supposed to do, but she got her mother on. All right. She did her thing, man. Like, they had such a bond between each other that, when it was time to break that bond, it's a reason for the way Barry is. I'm gonna put it like this: there's a reason that the timeline we know Barry is the way he is, and the Barry he meets in the past is the way he is. There's a reason for all that, and it's all about the mother, man. And just to have that connection, that strong connection, and to add this in the film, it brings a lot of heartfelt moments. Like, you really feel some issues and situations in here. You feel where Barry's coming from. You understand his grief, his pain, of having to go through this. And then his father got dragged into this. And come on now. So that was, for anybody, I didn't tear up or cry because, I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I didn't feel anything on that one. I felt something. I can understand anybody who would cry during that part, but I didn't, because I was just really into the movie and what was going on. But I understand how that could move somebody emotionally. Just that bond between those two characters, man. Negatives. Barry is still annoying. This goes without saying. It doesn't change the fact that Barry is annoying, even though he has a second Barry. We'll get into that in a little bit, and the downside of that. But for now, yes, Barry is still Barry, and he still over-explains things, and he's still a nervous, neurotic mess. Yeah, he doesn't have himself together. It's understandable why. And now with this movie, you understand more of why he's like the way he is. But at the same time, it can get annoying. It can get annoying. And then this movie's all about him. So him on the screen 24/7 is something you're just going to have to get used to. Right? The hard way. I'm just going to put it to you like this right now. Okay, you got to get used to Barry being there like that. All right? It's going to have to grow on you. It's rough. It's rough though, man. Let's talk about Barry number 2, the young Barry. All right, that gets bad because he's so stupid. So the reason that I liked him is also the reason that he's hated. All right, he's so dumb that it's funny and it's entertaining, but then because he's stupid, it's like he's a liability to the original Barry. Barry has to be a parent to his younger self, and it's so weird. I know it's got to be weird for him to have to be constantly telling your younger self, hey man, don't do this. What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? Come on, don't do that, man. I said, please don't do that. Yeah, and it's like, now I understand why people think I'm so annoying. And he said this like several times. Like, now I get it. I finally get why some people think I'm annoying, or they tell me that I never shut up, because I really do never shut up, and I'm seeing it through myself. And that's the part that just really kind of irritated me with the second Barry. He just didn't know how to listen. He didn't know what listening skills were. When somebody tells you not to do something, or when you think that something like dangerous, maybe you should not go for that. Maybe you shouldn't pursue that. All right? Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe. Just maybe. Think about it, please. But yeah, it kind of got, a little on the irritable side with that. Negative number 3. And it's maybe a little bit of nitpicking here, but I'm sorry. A lot of the death scenes were just super corny. Like imagine like back in the day when you had your cliche, well, before I die, I have 3 last words to tell you. Don't go in. And then they die. Like, you can't, nobody perfectly dies on the last word of the sentence. And then they're at least in the middle of trying to say something, and then they just croak over. Or they don't get to say anything. But in this movie, they went back to the old school style of people need to say the entire paragraph before they die, or they get to say it. They get to let the whole paragraph out, and then that's their last breath. I was like, no. And then somebody, I'm not gonna say who, somebody even had a chance to hit the, and I'm like, no, not the. Damn. No, stop! Don't. Why'd you do that? That was so unauthentic. Like, yeah, there probably are some people who die like that, but it's so over dramatic and fake. And they actually went there with those death scenes like that. I'm not saying who died. All right, it's an action movie. People die in action movies. People die in superhero movies sometimes. Okay, so I didn't say who though. So don't beat me up for it. Don't beat me up for that, all right? Don't hurt or harm me. Last negative. The CGI was a tad bit janky. I hate to say it, and I hate to say it very much, but DC still, they're having trouble with the CGI, man. Special effects of his powers, perfect, great. CGI, that's a whole other story, man. Nah, that baby scene, those babies, what the hell? It was too obvious. It was too. That was my biggest issue with the baby scene with the CGI, because it was like, is this a comedy or is this? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Stop. What are we doing with that? But I got to give this a hell yeah. All right, I'm still giving it a hell yeah. It's one of the best DC movies I've seen in a while. I don't think our guy had anything to do with that. I think it was all DC itself. All right, and so it's commendable. I wouldn't say Spider-Verse good, but it's good. All right, press that like button, share, and you better subscribe.